Most visitors come to Philadelphia for the Liberty Bell, Independence Hall, and the birth of a nation. But that's only part of the story. The city's identity is still being written through pop culture, sports, street art, and the legends that live on in every neighborhood. If you really want to experience Philadelphia, you have to go beyond the old city and meet the icons who still shape it today. One of the most photographed spots in the city, the Love Sculpture. Instantly recognizable, it isn't just a motto, it captures the heart of a city that proudly calls itself the city of brotherly love. This is a city that wears its heart on its sleeve, and this message is built into its streets. It shows up in unexpected places, honoring its icons in every form, from murals and statues to sports legends, and the fictional underdogs that define its story.
Here's Love Park, right across from Philadelphia City Hall. And William Penn standing guard on top. Philadelphia City Hall. From the vantage point of Broad Street, the largest freestanding masonry building in the world. This was the tallest building in Philadelphia. A gentleman's agreement said no other building will go taller than William Penn's hat. That William Penn statue on the top, by the way, the tallest statue in the world on top of a building. Constructed 1801. Now, when I was here as a kid, I remember it was 1994. We were in a restaurant in a building, I want to say part of our hotel, taller than that. The waitress told me a story that they never constructed a face on that statue of William Penn because nobody was allowed to build taller than it, so nobody would see it. However, that is not true. There is a face on there. I'm zoomed in as far as I can go.
There is definitely a face. Of course, not all of Philadelphia's icons are found in parks and plazas. Some were born right here in its neighborhoods. Like a certain Fresh Prince, who once spent most of his days just chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. But we're heading into West Philadelphia, the real one, to take a closer look at the neighborhood where his story began.
Some nice, beautiful homes here. Pretty architecture. Here in West Philadelphia, where someone was born and raised. As a matter of fact, on the playground of a school. That's where he spent most of his days. But this is the home, the childhood home of Will Smith, the Fresh Prince. Right there, it is private property, and there is a private property sign right on that door. You think it would be rough and tumble, but it's not. This is actually quite an affluent, nice middle-class affluent neighborhood. It's really pretty here in West Philadelphia.
While Will Smith's story surprised us with a neighborhood more polished than expected, Philadelphia's most iconic fictional son came from a place that looked and felt very different. So now we head north into Kensington, a working-class neighborhood that shapes the underdog spirit of the city and those that embrace it. It's a part of the city that's real, raw, and undeniably Philadelphia. If you choose to explore it yourself, bring awareness and respect, because this isn't a movie set. This is somebody's home.
1818 Tusculum Street, the home of Rocky Balboa. Take Me Back Corner is where they were singing Take Me Back at the very beginning of Rocky. And he turns up this way. The building is no longer here. It is now a vacant lot. But he turns up this way to head back up to his home.
Take it back. Take it back.
2146 North Front Street. This actually was Adrian's pet shop. No longer is, obviously. And right across, we have Mighty Mick's gym. I believe this was a gym at one point, actually. All the scenes from inside of Mick's in the filming of Rocky were actually filmed in Los Angeles, but looks like in this neighborhood they have turned this into an eatery called Lost in Time. But right over here you got the boxing gloves. Right there. Left over.
Lost Time is a sleek gastropub that feels oddly out of time and place. It's a one-of-a-kind reinvention in the Kensington neighborhood that hasn't changed nearly as much as this building has. It's a strange poetic contrast. Where Rocky trained under the L, you can now sip craft cocktails under string lights. Of course, most visitors come to see a different part of the Rocky story. Not the neighborhood he came from, but the place where he became a symbol. So now, let's step over to that direction.
Here at the foot of the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art, the Italian stallion, son of Philadelphia, Rocky Balboa. And there's the base of the steps. We'll see you on the flip side. From the top of the Museum of Art steps. Holy smokes. Never a question of if you're in shape enough to go up these steps. No, it's always how bad out of shape are you. I got the blood pumping for the day.
But Rocky is just the beginning of Philly's sports story, and sometimes it even takes you to a galaxy far, far away. Gritty's up to his usual antics during the game, there's a lot more happening than just what's on the ice. Whether it's a theme night like Star Wars night, or just an average home game, there's plenty to explore around the arena.
A neat little addition here in the Wells Fargo Center. You could play some old school hockey and basketball games.
A homage to the hat-trick history of the Flyers. List of players who have had hat tricks, when they had it, who the opponent was, and then the hats that were thrown on the ice. This is obviously updated to include recent ones.
I do really like the Wells Fargo Center here. I know it's the Wells Fargo Center, I believe, has been around for a while. And then they've, I believe, renovated it to what they call the new Wells Fargo Center. Unless this is a brand new construction. I'm not entirely sure. But I do like what they've done. They try to represent all of Philadelphia, and they have homage to different neighborhoods around Philadelphia, as well as other surrounding towns within their local market, all the way west and east, representing even towns in New Jersey and along the Jersey Shore, which is interesting because the New Jersey Devils are also trying to incorporate the shoreline in South Jersey into their production at the Prudential Center. But I do like what Philadelphia is doing here in incorporating that at the Wells Fargo Center. Looks like they have some extra area in here for sit-down bars, standing spots. I got you right there. There's more concessions options and more bar space, seating space around, set off from a widened concourse. I really like this so far.
Penalties of 55, Rasmus Ristolainen, 2 minutes for the return. Puts off the player.
Here outside the Wells Fargo Center is Mr. Snyder, the gentleman responsible for the Flyers becoming a franchise from their beginnings in 1967. But this is the only Flyers-related statue here outside the Wells Fargo Center, from what I've told. Kind kind of surprised. Nothing related to their Stanley Cup wins, the Broad Street Bullies, 73, 74, 75, that era there. But that's what's here. There is a statue of Wilt Chamberlain, 76ers great, as well as the Sixers played their basketball games here, the Wells Fargo Center as well. The Sixers have other statues, similar, shorter statues outside their practice facility, but not here.
I was just about to be proven wrong on both fronts, because just around the corner there were statues. First, of the coach of the legendary Broad Street Bullies, and then a couple of statues, the Flyers of the mid-70s, not to the individual players, but to the grit and the teamwork and dedication of the team. The Sixers, on the other hand, of a couple of the most iconic players in NBA history.
Presentation of the Stanley Cup. Broad Street Bullies. Wilt the Stilt. Wilton Norman Chamberlain. Dr. J. Dr. J. Julius Erving. The Sixers great immortalized with bronze statue. Every city is a little different. There's the Wells Fargo Center where the Sixers and Flyers play. Lincoln Financial Field where the Philadelphia Eagles play. And Citizens Bank Park, home of the Phillies. All in one localized area. Tribute to Veterans Stadium.
When most people think of historic Philadelphia, a particular picture comes to mind. But for generations of Philadelphia sports fans, the city's legacy runs just as deep in its stadiums. Veteran Stadium tributes aren't a major stop on most tours, but they're a window into something deeper. In Philadelphia, sports aren't just games. They are part of the city's identity. Every statue, every arena, every memory, from the legends of Broad Street to the fictional underdogs on the step, reflects a fan base that treats its teams with reverence, because here, sports are history.
The city of Philadelphia has not had too many sustained winners, sustained periods of professional sports championships or whatnot, but they do take pride in their sports history. Again, these statues outside of the parking lot where Veterans Stadium once stood pay homage and honor to all sports at all levels, high school, college, that used Veterans Memorial Stadium, as well as the Phillies and the Eagles. Philadelphia fans truly love their team. From Veterans Stadium, here is the Liberty Bell at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Michael Jack Schmidt, Hall of Fame third baseman of the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was a kid, I feared every time he came up to bat. Mets played the Phillies a lot. He was a force. Number 32 for lefty, Steve Carlton. Here's lefty. Even in the sculpture, I like the air there in the stirrups, between the ankles. The old school stirrups.
And then we're going to touch.
Long history of the Philadelphia Phillies. A lot of great players have come through here from Philadelphia, but only twice were they able to go all the way and win the World Series. A lot of Hall of Famers. Number statues for those Phillies greats immortalized by statues outside the gates.
At Citizens Bank Park, every corner tells a story, from the statues of Hall of Fame pitchers Robin Roberts and Steve Carlton to the legacy of Richie Ashburn in the aptly named Ashburn Alley. The ballpark doesn't just celebrate the game, it celebrates Philadelphia. Here, baseball pride blends with the city's deeper spirit of independence. You'll find homages to postseason triumphs, nods to hometown heroes, and reminders of the grit and resilience that define this fan base. It's not just a place to watch a game, it's a place to feel the heartbeat of a city that's always played hard and cheered harder.
Here in Ashburn Alley, it looks like they have all of the all-stars. All-stars for the Phillies based on position who have appeared in the All-Star game. Cliff Slocum. Not only can you get your photo with a statue of the Philly fanatic, it's right here outside of Pass and Stowe, which is perhaps the greatest name for a pub I've ever known. Obviously, Pass and Stowe, who cast the Liberty Bell, and there's a lot of Liberty Bell here at Citizens Bank Park. And it opens up right over here by left field. And as we continue, we come across Harry Callis, the renowned Hall of Fame broadcaster. Philadelphia is the home of liberty and freedom, but I don't know how New York feels about this. The evolution of Phillies uniform over the years. Outside the party suites, old baseball cards. And you can even sit in old Veteran Stadium seats.
It's not just the history that makes this ballpark special, it's the energy. The fans packed shoulder to shoulder in every section. There's a motion to this place that never really stops. Conversations flow between innings, kids lean over the rail to watch pitchers warm up, and even first-time visitors start to feel like part of the family. It's a stadium that pulses with Phillies spirit, grounded in tradition, but always moving forward. After taking in the sights, the stories, and the soul of this ballpark, there's only one thing left to do: eat. And at Citizens Bank Park, the food hits just as hard as the fans do.
So, trying to find the most unique non-cheesesteak food here at the ballpark, and I was told to try Bull's Barbecue as the best one. So, when I noticed that they have a burnt ends cheesesteak, it seems to be the best of both worlds. So that is what I got. And this thing is a mess, but it looks gorgeous. Oh my gosh, this is so good. You have the cheese from the cheesesteak. This bread is phenomenal. And this meat, these burnt ends, are so tender, they just melt in your mouth tender. So yeah, yes, you can get the cheesesteak here at the ballpark. I would also suggest at least the burnt ends cheesesteak here at Bull's Barbecue. Absolutely 5 out of 5, melt in your mouth. Good job.
That's
won. Pitcher's duel. For the most part. Phillies had a couple of chances. Ninth inning, had a runner on. Grounded into a double play. But that's how it goes. A nice ballpark, a pretty ballpark. I like what they've done with the ballpark in terms of relating to the history, diving into the independence factor of Philadelphia. I noticed the entertainment options here. There weren't a whole lot of extra entertainment between innings. The Philly Fanatic was out for a little while. Different teams have different races, different things on the board. There were a couple of lookalikes and, ball under the hat type things, but not as many as some other teams. Some teams like to take more of a traditional approach with that, some would call it professional, others would call it lacking in or embracing the entertainment beyond the baseball. But good times had by all. Chilly, windy.
From West Philly's Will Smith to Kensington's Rocky Balboa, from the Flyers' gritty energy to the Phillies' historic pride, this is a city where both fanatics and legends, real and fictional, are born. Whether you're cheering from the stands or running up the rocky steps, Philadelphia invites you to be part of the story. Now, if you've enjoyed this deep dive into Philly's pop culture and sports scene, check out the rest of our travel series. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep exploring with us right here. And we'll see you in the next one.